and to do. So it's just showing up and doing my best to do my best. Everything else is out of my control. So I can come here, and we talk about this. I could come here, and you and I can have this conversation. And at the end of the conversation, you could turn around to Angela and say, she's whacked. Like, oh my God, like she's crazy. And she thinks she knows everything. And she talks and talks and talks. And I can't stand her, and I don't want her to come here anymore. Or you could turn around to Angela and have no opinion. Or you could turn around to Angela and say, oh my God, Felicia, God gave her to us, so wonderful. Whatever. I show up the way that I show up. You take it the way that you take it. That's the way that the world works. So the only thing I'm in control over is showing up and doing my best. That's it. Doing my best all the way around. Speaking my best, acting my best, doing my best for myself, doing service for others, kindness, brotherly love, courage, integrity, truth-telling, all of that stuff. Showing up and doing our best.
So after 44 years, I love it when you laugh at me. It just makes me feel so important.
Not that she's codependent. Let's not get back there.
So after 44 years of doing things the same way, it's a little bit of a challenge starting to switch things out. I mean, in terms
of course. And so that's we're also used to doing what we're used to doing, right? Our habits are our habits. And so, so we have to do some work. We have to go through those steps that we need to go through so that we can unlearn our old habits and learn how to live a life in recovery.
So we're going to retrain our brain, essentially. So we're retraining it. How long does a process normally take?
Well, it takes 1 minute to 800,000 years. Because it's going to happen differently for everybody.
Right. So from what I understood, it takes about 90 days to be able to learn new behaviors or a new habit or...
Correct. And that's what they say. So yes, I agree with that. And I think that if you do anything again and again and again and again and again, over 90 days, it does become more habitual. The thing about recovery is that it's a slow process. And it is a process. It doesn't really have an end part. So in recovery, we're working on ourselves every day, day after day, and each day hoping that we're going to be able to do our best. Moving forward a little bit, right? Sometimes moving backward a lot, and then getting up and moving forward a little bit again.
So it's not really so much retraining my brain to be totally different, but it's more having a program that I can rely on. So when I get that stinking thinking or those thoughts that I've used and that keep playing out time and time again, I've got a reference point in which I can go to be able to use and work a program that kind of centers me, anchors me, and helps refocus.
Right, and that you have a community that you could go to also. Because when I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling nuts, I have to think about what's happening in my brain and chat with somebody else about it so that I can get some feedback. Because remember, when we rely on ourselves, by ourselves, we lose.
Right.
That's just the way that it is. Relying on ourselves kept us in addiction. We did it, and it never worked out for us. Thinking that we had it and that we could get better by ourselves and change our behaviors by ourselves and not reach out for help. That's what keeps us in active addiction.
So that's interesting because all I really wanted to do yesterday was get into bed and stay in bed. I didn't want to get out. So really,
you had a tough day yesterday.
Right, and I really just wanted to be alone, and I couldn't be because. You're right.
Well, actually, you could have been, but you chose not to. Right.
So I really chose to show up, and it really shifted my whole day. But the thing is, before, I wouldn't have done that. Before, I would have shut off, switched off, disappeared, and been on my own. So that community really is essential in terms of getting me out of my funk.
Right. And that's such an important step. And something that was said between us yesterday, which I thought about a lot yesterday because we say it kidding around. But yesterday you were having a moment and you and I were talking and I said to you, you mean to tell me that losing 120 pounds hasn't made you happy on the inside.
Right.
And that's a really big deal.
You mean when I was crying and really
when you were
upset?
crying and upset yesterday. Because really that's the picture. You lost 120 pounds. Physically, you look amazing. Spiritually, it doesn't change how we are, man. It's just the size of us. It's not the heart of us.
Right. So it took care. So what I did took care of the outside, but it didn't take care of the
inside.
and the inside. So
Right.
really, that is what I'm getting out of this program. So for Y-Way for Recovery, what it's giving me is the tools and the techniques and the community in which to become healthy.
Yeah, to recover, to be happy, to
And to be
learn how
happy.
to be happy.
I forgot how to be happy.
Yeah.
I was so busy controlling and being in control and trying to control and being perfect that I forgot to, as you say, watch the movie.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was caught up in that tailspin. So a few things that we are doing. So our goal for Y-Way for Recovery is what? Why did we start Y-Way for Recovery?
Well, first of all, we started Y-Way for Recovery so that we have a community, because we know with community, even if you go back to the first psychologists that talked about community, everybody does better when everybody's doing something for the betterment of the community. That's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of human beings. So to have that community so that we always have somebody to rely on, that's a big thing. And so that we could grow together, learn from each other, and teach each other how to be happy, how not to do the stuff that we used to do, how to stop beating ourselves up, how to look at ourselves, do what's best, and look at the best part of ourselves, and understand that the better we get, the more we can be of service to others.
And the interesting part for me as an addict is that when I'm in active addiction, it's all about me, and being in community makes it about others. And when I'm able to step out of myself, my world becomes so much bigger.
You know, I just have to laugh because I remember when I first went into treatment, and they used to say that that addicts are selfish. And I was like, I wasn't selfish. Like, I would drink, and I would take out the checkbook, man. Like, I bought my kid a pool table. All of his friends, the kids' friends, were always over. We went out on the boat. We did all this. I spent all kinds of money, and it's not about that. You know, this selfishness or self-centeredness is about how I will do anything that I need to go to do, and go to any lengths so that I can get to my drug of choice. So that no matter what's happening, in the end, I can do what it is that I need to do. And in the end, when we're using, with the people around us that we think that we're being generous to, really what we're telling them is that they're never going to be as important as our drug of choices. And that's a big thing to look at. You know, I'd rather binge and throw up and be in my own head than take care of myself and be the mom that I can be for you. I'd rather stay stuck in this chaos, which allows me to use, than get well on the inside so that I could get better all the way around, and be that mom or that sister or that neighbor or that friend that doesn't have their entire day, you know, revolved around where am I going to go, where am I going to, and how am I going to get what I need, and in the meantime, yeah, I'm going to write you a check, but in the end, like that ways and means of getting what we want.
One of my aha moments, also related to my kids, is that by me abusing me, which really addiction abuse is you're abusing yourself and you're abusing everyone within your world.
Correct.
But also the lessons that I teach my kids, because I'm model. I'm their model of how they view the world as they're younger. And they start, as they get older, they become more self-determining. But at a younger age is when they really look at me as their role model.
Right, because
So
kids
I've
learn
been
what they
teaching
live.
them to abuse themselves, put other people first, to not listen to themselves.
Right.
And that was also one of my motivations to start dealing with the issue, because I knew I had to be healthy. I had to be a role model to them by being a role model to myself. And that's by putting myself first. And not in a selfish way, but in a way that goes in a caring, loving, considerate way, because those are the lessons that I'm trying to teach them. And if I'm bullying myself and I'm beating myself up, how am I teaching them the lesson of compassion and generosity and just kindness? So it's really
Yeah, that's really true, and it's so learning to treat ourselves like we would treat, like if I had a 13-year-old daughter. You know, what love and respect and kindness would I give to that person, to anybody that I loved and respected? To look at ourselves that way too, and to understand that we could love and respect ourselves, and do that work so that in the end we don't have to use, so that we don't have to kill ourselves.
Does this bring anything up for you?
Yes.
On the spot.
On the spot.
Well, just hearing you say that makes me remember, which was not too long ago before I started working on recovery that I didn't want to be here.
Right.
And so, yeah, it just makes me realize that I didn't think anything was it was possible to fix what was wrong, but it actually is, and it happened really fast, and I'm happy now.
Yeah. And so recovery is amazing. You know, to go from a place where, so the first time I went to a treatment center, when I went to a treatment center like 8 or 9 years, I guess like 9 years ago, was the last time that I had tried to kill myself. And so you go from that person that tries to kill yourself or wants to kill themselves to this person that's freaking happy, you know, that's goofy and happy, and we come here and we laugh and we're like, what are we going to do? We don't know, you know, whatever. Like, nothing's really so big and so serious and so chaotic and so outside important, you know, like it gives us a time. Recovery allows us to be happy.
It also makes us do crazy things. Let's sit here on a Wednesday night after a long day of work at 9 o'clock to talk to cameras, okay, to actually talk to people about what we're doing, and we're going, why are we doing this? I mean, are we crazy enough to actually be doing this? But the thing is, I'm in such a happier place by having gone through this process. And after years of living, of beating myself up and being what I call down the rabbit hole, which really is those ups and downs, and really those lows are tremendous lows where it's just the darkest places to be able to come out and actually be in a place where there's hope and there's light and there's sunshine and there's joy is just something you want to share with others. So being of service is really one of the integral parts of a healthy recovery.
Yeah, it's like, you know, they talk about drinking the Kool-Aid,
we
right?
are
You drink
really-
the Kool-Aid, you want everybody else to drink the Kool-Aid too.
So we really
Sugar-free Kool-Aid is what I meant, sugar-free.
calorie free.
Calorie-free, calorie-free.
Everything's got calories. You breathe, that's got a calorie. Okay, but
That's a lot.
that's.
It's not a trick.
But the thing is, you give us the opportunity to be able to be of service, and we really are truly grateful for that. So we do have a gratitude group. So it's on our Facebook. It is Honesty and Courage. Gratitude helps ground us. It helps us see the world as a bigger place. It makes us look at the little things and appreciate them, because it really is the little things at the end of the day that really matter and count. And it makes us, it just opens up our world. So really we invite and challenge everyone to, if you're not going to do it on our group on Honesty and Courage on Facebook, at least just do it on a piece of paper or amongst your friends, or text your friends. Be grateful for something tonight. Just step out of yourself and be grateful for something tonight. I'm grateful it was raining and my tomatoes are growing.
I'm grateful that it was monsooning raining and I got here safely and
And
happy.
we didn't need to fill the pool tonight, and not only that, I had a car that kept me dry, and the windscreen wipers worked, which is awesome. So it was absolutely awesome. So we do meet up on on Sundays. It's a little bit of a different session. Sunday we let you talk.
Sunday is our recovery meeting. So Wednesday night is usually Haiti and I chatting about something that we had a thought about, and Angeli's here and we're laughing and kidding around. And Sunday is a lot more serious. It's an actual recovery meeting where we're learning spiritually to let go of some pain and let go of some tears, and learn to come together as a community and learn how to start reliving our lives, learning how to live that life, what that life looks like in recovery.
So we invite you to sign up and join us on Sunday. If you can't be here in person, we are in South Florida. There's loads of room for people. We really get a great turnout on a Sunday. So we usually have people in the room, which makes it very different. We have people live streaming us. We have people interacting on webinar through the camera. So you can actually see us. We have people in Israel. We have people in South Africa. We have people all around the world that actually tune in and join us, because recovery and addiction is not geographically designated. It's not restricted. It's all over. It affects everyone, no matter what culture, what background, how you grew up, where you're from.
Yeah, there's no prejudice with addiction. You know, addiction don't care what color you are, what size you are, how much money you have.
I'm not that special.
No, sorry, I know.
So we're gonna meet up again on Sunday. We really encourage you to send questions. Feedback is awesome. If there's more you'd like to hear or see, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
because this really is a wealth of knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
And
You know, fortunately or unfortunately, we go through what we go through before we get to that point, or before we have that gift of desperation, which is what most of us have, before we decide that we can't live the life that we're living and we choose to live a life in recovery. And you know, we had talked about, was I talking with you about, I read that to you the other day, where we talk about living our life with our addiction is so horrible, but not as horrible as we think living our life without it is. And so going through that transformation, taking that first step, and being scared, and seeing other people that were scared too and that are now excited to be in recovery.
And as much shame as we carry within us, and I know because I've been there and I've been embarrassed and I've been carrying shame for years. I carried 130 pounds worth of shame and guilt. That
And I carried like 130 million milligrams per set in shame and guilt.
So the first steps are always the most uncomfortable. The thought of us, we are the worst judges of ourselves. So when we're sitting in our own heads judging ourselves on our actions, we think everyone else is seeing us through our eyes. And really, once you start participating and showing up, everything starts shifting, because you realize that you're not alone. Most of us have been where you are or where you've been, and we welcome you. And there's nothing you can tell us that's going to shock us or disturb us, or that we're going to judge you on, because we've been there. And really, it is so liberating and freeing to be able to be in a place where you are in a safe space, to be able to discuss this and let go of the chains that really have held us in bondage for so long, and be able to talk about this crap. And most of it, honestly, at the end of the day, we carry it around a lot longer than what it actually happened for.
Right. Well, so we carry the feelings that are attached to whatever happened. Because once something happens, it's done. Beating yourself up about it's kind of silly. And what we do hold on to are those feelings that are attached to whatever it is that happened. And it's learning how to get rid of that. And it's knowing too, no matter what we say, you know, we come here and we goof and we say, wow, like we were really in trouble, and, you know, we try to kill ourselves, but I did try to kill myself, you know, and that wasn't funny. And so it's so scary to make that change. And so for anybody that's watching for the first time, just to understand that, that we know how scary that change is, even though it's a change for the better, how scary that change is, and that we're here to let you know that it's possible. And it's possible to come out on the other side actually happy.
Right. And healthy.
Yeah, and healthy. And
So
silly.
and goofy and
Yeah.
So the big thing is Sunday, 9 a.m., the best way to start the week. Come join us. We are so pleased you did join us today. And this is Hayley, and I'm going to say peace out. Have a beautiful night. Have a wonderful week what's left, and we will see you this long weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Yep, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery, and I'm Felice. Peace out.
And I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. Thanks for joining
Good
us.
night.
Good night.